your beliefs about prosperity, more specifically, your beliefs about money are going to influence the amount of money that you are able to obtain in your life more than anything else in your life. Um, I mean, if you were born deaf, dumb, and blind, I still think your beliefs about money will influence you more than that challenge. If you're born in horrific poverty in a third world country, I believe your beliefs about prosperity will influence you more than any other factor in your life. So, good morning from Miami. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, anywhere else in the world. Say hi, wave to me on the screen. I see Jose in the house. I see Jorge in the house. And do me a favor, if you're watching live, check in the chat there and just say hey and where you're watching from. And if you're listening or watching the replay on the YouTube channel, just check in the comments. I love to check and see where everybody's at. If this is your first time, this is something we do every Saturday. It is the Prosperity Unchurch, meaning it is just a live stream lesson about prosperity that I teach every week on a love offering basis. And we pick a topic every week that, and I need to make sure that my mic is in a good place for you guys. Hopefully the light is good. Is the light good? Give me a yes, no. Okay, we're good. That first week I kept saying, why is the light so bad? And I realized when I unplugged my laptop and moved it here, it lowered to safety mode, battery preservation mode, and it darkened it. So I thought the screen was so dark. Here's why I say I think beliefs affect your prosperity in such a huge manner in relation to anything else in your life. Because your beliefs, your core foundational beliefs create your overall vision for your life, right? If you have a positive vision, if you remember, you guys who were with me on the very first one, I talked about what I believe is the little known issue of how important self-esteem is to your prosperity. Because if you believe you're supposed to be healthy, happy, and prosperous, you create a whole different vision for yourself, right? And then your vision is created by your self-esteem. That determines the goals that you set, and more importantly, the daily actions you take. When you see a goal as believable or attainable, you approach it a whole different way than a goal that you think is impossible. So if you set a goal, I'm going to jump so high I can touch the clouds in the sky, that's maybe aspirational, but you don't really think you're going to do that. You're probably not going to train for that, work hard every day, do things in your life to make that happen. Whereas if you set a goal, same thing. If you set a goal, I'm going to lose 80 pounds this month, you're probably not going to do it. If you set a goal of I'm going to lose 6 pounds this month, you're probably going to do it. And the key is your daily habits are what create your life. Plain and simple. Your daily habits create your life. So what I want to focus on this week are some bad beliefs about money. And there's 7 that I want to talk about this week. And do me a favor, somebody in the chat, follow along and type in as I go along, number 1, number 2. We do have deaf people who view this in the chat and other things. And it's good just to anchor it with yourself. And why I picked these 7 particular beliefs is because they're so prevalent. There's so many people who believe them, and that's what makes them so dangerous and so destructive in terms of your prosperity. So let's jump into them. Bad belief number one: money rules the world. Money rules the world. And I got to tell you, this is a belief that I had for a long time. Let me see if I can close that. I want to open up my chat and see what you all are doing and see who, oh, I didn't. Yes, I did bring my glasses. Just bear with me while I get this focused in. Okay. Build a jetpack, Kathy. All right. All right. So money rules the world. Now, I believe that for a long time because being a really poor guy, struggling for everything in life, I just felt like I was very jealous of people who had money. It seemed that they were able to do things easier than I could. They seemed to have more opportunities than I did. And I felt like there was this systemic bias against people with no money. And you know what? That's true. So if you're listening or watching and saying, well, wait a minute, there really is a systemic bias against, for people with money have more power than people who don't. That's true. Get over it. It's not fair. Get over it. You don't like it. Get over it. That's the truth. But don't let it accelerate. Accelerate's not the word. Don't let that belief expand to the level where you believe that money rules the world, because money does rule a tightly segmented part of the world, right? There are people like Harvey Weinstein who use their money to rule. They use their money to control a certain element of the world. And that will never change. We will always have people who do that. But money does not rule the world. Money rules that particular segment of it. And it is not the enlightened part of the world. Bad belief number two: the supply of money is limited. The supply of money is limited. That's just crazy. It'd be good to maybe take a second and just think about what money really is. And I think it's fascinating because I think these things, these mobile phones, have helped accelerate the process for people to understand the true nature of money today. I'm old, so I grew up in a time where there was a gold in Fort Knox, and the United States dollar was on the gold standard, meaning there was a value assigned to every dollar bill in an equal amount of gold, and that was kept in this reserve at Fort Knox. And then I think it was 71 or 72, President Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard. And now the value of the dollar is what it's really been all along. It's whatever we say it is. It's whatever is created in the mind of man. A US dollar is actually just a mind virus created by humans. We say, okay, if you want to buy this cup of green tea, it costs $3. Somebody else has the green tea. If you want it, you're willing to pay $3 for it. That establishes the value for it. If I say, oh, this is an incredible green tea and the herbs and, were harvested from another continent and fair labor, and this green tea costs $5 a cup. Well, if you're willing to pay $5 a cup, that's it. So we assign a value, the dollar of the dollar, the value of the dollar versus the pound, the yen, the euro, the peso. This is all made up in the mind of man. And why I say I love what phones do is because now people very seldom put money in their hands. Like, I'm trying to think when's the last, oh, I know when. Somebody sent me some flowers and I had to run into my dresser and grab a bill to tip the delivery person who brought me the flowers. Because of course I didn't carry any money around the house. I put some money in my pocket when I leave the house, but I never use it because I use a debit card, a credit card, or I pay with my phone. And if you look at most millennials, right, they don't ever carry cash. It's like, I remember I went to a seminar and there was a valet parking and there was this 25-year-old guy and I both there at the same time to park our cars. And the attendant said, okay, it's $5 cash in advance. And the guy was like, $5? You don't take Cash App, you don't take Venmo, you don't. And the valet is like, no, it's cash, right? People don't even use cash anymore. So I can't even think of the last time that I went in my bank, right? It used to be you got your paycheck every Friday and then you took it to the bank and you cashed it. Hopefully you deposited some for savings and then you took the rest of the cash and you would use that to buy things throughout the week. Those days are gone, right? If you're a millennial, you're like, cash, let me Google that and see what that is. What is he talking about, right? Because somebody Venmos you money and you got it in your Venmo account or you got it in your PayPal account and you transfer it to someone else, right? So you understand it's really just atoms. It's in the ether. It's just a concept. You're not actually getting that money from the people who pay you and then handing that money to the people you want to exchange it for value for products or services. It's an abstract concept. So this is why I say money is infinite. And I believe if you follow my blog or my podcast, I've done a lot of work in this area, that all true forms of prosperity are infinite. Money, love, hugs, empathy, harmony, happiness. There is not a finite supply of that. If somebody says, I have so much love for you, you don't have to say, well, you might want to put a quota on that. Don't use too much love because then you won't have enough to give someone else. No, it's a limitless resource. The more love you give away, the more love you receive back. The more hugs you give away, the more hugs that you will receive back. And money is that way because remember, it's just a label that we've assigned for a method of exchange. It was really in the early days, you might have had food, which you could have traded, or you might have had wolf pelts you could have traded. And, it's very time consuming and inconvenient to trade cobs of corn or wolf pelts for a massage or for the new Beyonce album or for concert tickets. So we created this concept of money, and the supply of money is infinite. Because think about, and if you didn't watch the live stream last week, make sure you go back and watch last week because it's really important. We talked about how you manifest prosperity on the physical realm. And we do it through the power of ideas. That's the mechanism that we use, right? So there's no limit to the amount of ideas that you can come up with. Last week, we talked about how you can solve problems, add value, and envision possibilities. And there is no limit to the amount of problems you can solve, value you can add, or possibilities you can eliminate, you can envision. So that means there is no limit to the amount of money in the world, in the universe, or to the amount of money which you can attract into your life. Bad belief number 3, money you receive comes at the expense of someone else. This is a really bad belief. Money you receive comes at the expense of someone else. Because go back to our last point. Because money is infinite, you don't need to take it from someone else to get more for you. It's not an either or scenario. There are situations, if the NBA cap for the team, the player salaries is $80 million, and if LeBron gets 30 million of that 80 million, then there's just 50 million for the remaining people, right? So but these are isolated instances, and it still doesn't take into account that those other people can do endorsement deals and sponsorships, and they can invest their money and put their money to work for them and work in different ways. So there really is, it does not have to come at anybody else's expense. And this is an example of why beliefs like this are so destructive in terms of your prosperity, because if you believe that for you to move from $100,000 a year in income to $180,000 a year in income, and you think that $80,000 has to come at the expense of poor people, you're probably going to sabotage yourself. You're probably going to find ways to not allow yourself to become more successful, because you're going to have this residual guilt feeling like, wow, I'm working hard and I'm doing the right thing and I'm living my life by prosperous principles and I want to manifest more prosperity in my life, but boy, there's people starving in Africa, and the animal shelter needs more money, and the Save the Rainforest Fund needs more money, and there's so many other people in need and charities, and you will self-sabotage your own prosperity. And believe me, you don't want to do that. Give me a yo in the comments, or hey, or yo, whatever type, if you relate to this, if you know what I'm talking about, how you can have this conscious desire to want to do, have, and become more, but at the same time, if you have that residual guilt. We have an affirmation for Prosperity Factory. I think this might be a good time to read it. And it's on the page, the giving page, which is randygage.com/go, where we do the love offering each week. But here's the affirmation. We celebrate the following truth. We have prosperity because we choose to accept it. We circulate prosperity joyfully, lovingly, and gratefully. We become prosperity by generous daily living. Prosperity surrounds us everywhere in the universe, yet we know it begins with us. This is our affirmation for all the lessons. Every week, we're always going to come back to this affirmation, because the key words here are: we have prosperity, we circulate prosperity, we become prosperity. And I'm sure we'll do some shows just looking at the circulation principles of prosperity, because that's a really important part of it. But they're based on this premise, which is the supply of money is actually limitless, and the money you receive does not have to come at the expense of somebody else's prosperity. All right, bad belief numero 4 is money changes people. Dinero cambio gente, although I don't know what's the subjective part of change, right? How would it be? Cambian, because it's gente, it's plural. Ellos, would it be cambian? Whatever it is, money, this is such a common belief. You hear this all the time. People saying, oh yes, I used to like him and then he got rich and money changed him. Oh, I used to like her, but once she got rich, she changed. Well, you know what? I changed a great deal from the person I was when I was broke to the person I am as a wealthy person, but not in the way of this context that people are trying to make it. Because remember, we we manifest prosperity by solving problems, adding value, and envisioning possibilities. So when you do become wealthier, it means you found ways to add value, right? So everybody can say, oh, Bezos, man, he makes all those billions of dollars. He's the richest guy in the world. Well, he added billions to his net worth because the value that Amazon created in a pandemic. So people like my 85-year-old mother could learn how to go online and get groceries delivered and get necessities delivered and not have to leave her house and expose herself to the coronavirus, right? Now, Elon Musk recently went past Jeff a couple of weeks ago, I think, for the wealthiest person on earth. Well, look at the value he's doing and with SpaceX and exploring other planets and giving us the opportunity to be a multi-planetary species. What he's doing with Tesla to preserve and protect the environment and get us off of fossil fuels. He's created cars that people want to trade money for, right? They want to exchange. He has created value. So money doesn't change people. What money does is it reveals people. So money doesn't change who you are. Money reveals who you are. So when I first got money and all I did was buy expensive watches and sports cars and 200 pairs of shoes and glitzy lifestyle, okay, that's kind of who I was at that time. But the money didn't change me. It just revealed who I was. And then as my consciousness has developed, as I moved closer to enlightenment, which is one of the goals I set every day, I just want to be a little bit better person than I was the day before. That has changed my consciousness. And so now when I attract money, the things I'm able to do with money are different and they reveal more who I am as a person right now. And this will be the exact same for you. With the as you attract and manifest more and more money in your life, it will be easier for people to see what kind of person you are because of how you choose to wield the prosperity that you manifest. Number 5 is a pretty intriguing one. Money bestows worth. Worth, W-O-R-T-H. Money bestows worth. This is a huge perception that is fueled by these other limiting beliefs about money. So like people who believe that money rules the world also believe that people who have more money, that worth has somehow been bestowed upon them. But that's false. Money does not bestow any wealth. And so, and you're going to see how this ties into the 7th belief in a little bit, but people like to attribute a spiritual nature to money, to a lack of money, I should say, or a noble nature to poverty. And because of that, it fuels some of these other really dysfunctional beliefs. And it's really important. I think 80% of the fight in matters of consciousness and enlightenment and self-development is understanding the issue, right? Being aware of the issue. So once you become aware of something, it's 80% of the way to creating the new reality that you would prefer to create. All right, so number 6. Money solves all your problems. Very common belief. Money solves all your problems. Oh man, I got so much going on. My life is so bad. I don't have a job and my car is broken down and I don't have enough money to buy food and I would like to get this. And if only I had money, my life would be perfect. Sorry, that dog don't hunt. Money doesn't solve your problems. Money solves your money problems. So just reframe that. Okay, money doesn't solve my problems. Money solves my money problems. Because money won't solve your relationships problems. Money won't solve your self-esteem problems. Money won't solve your worthiness issues. Money won't solve your physical challenges. Money won't solve a lot of things. But it will solve your money problems. So if you will, in a minute, we're going to talk about how we reframe some of these beliefs to live a more prosperous life. So as an example of that, if you reframe this belief to say, okay, money solves my money problems, then you change your whole focus. Okay, I have these specific money problems I would like to solve. So let me manifest the money I need to solve those problems and not expect it's going to make you a more noble person, or it's going to fix your marriage, or it's going to make your kids behave better, or make you a better mother or father, or any of that nonsense. Money will solve your money problems. And then finally, the bad belief number 7 is poverty is noble or virtuous. Poverty is noble or virtuous. And that is just a crock. Okay. And it's one of the, I think of the 7 bad beliefs, I think this is probably the one that infects the most people with this very destructive, damaging, limiting belief. Poverty is a sin. Poverty is abhorrent. Any place that we have poverty, we're missing the mark. It's an insult to the force that created us, for any of us to live in poverty. And that doesn't mean you're a bad person because you're poor. So don't take it that way. And there's nothing immoral or, I don't want to use, actually, I'm going to walk that back. I was about to say there's nothing immoral with being born poor. But I'm going to walk that back because I'm going to say there's nothing immoral that you have done if you were born poor. But I would say there's immorality as a society that we still allow other people to be born poor. Because we live in such a rich, abundant universe. It's just a sin that we still have poverty on this planet. Because remember, money is infinite. Prosperity is infinite. So there's no reason that people should have to be born in poverty. And you know, which takes us to one of the reasons why I've agreed to do this unchurch every Saturday, to do this celebration service on the principles. For you guys, if this is your first week, we study 3 areas: the principles of prosperity, free enterprise, and generosity. And then how we apply those principles to create a prosperous life. And this is a test. I'm not committed to doing this the rest of my life unless you guys make me, right? You're going to show me if you circulate the prosperity of this lesson every week. I'm going to do it on a love offering basis. You show me it has value, that you're supporting my work and you're circulating the work, and that we grow it, that you show me that we're telling our friends about it, and we're telling our family about it. And, you know, there's probably someone you should be texting right now that, wow, I'm on this live stream right now. You need to be watching this. I'm going to send you the link, or come on now, or I'm going to send you the replay link, right? There's people in your life who need this. So I'm putting it out there to the universe. I'm circulating my prosperity and entrusting you guys to keep the prosperity circulating. And it's not a religion, it's not a church, it's not a nonprofit. I'm doing it as a for-profit venture because I want to model the behavior of free enterprise, because I'm one of those people who do believe that free enterprise and capitalism can make the world more prosperous when it's conducted the right way, with integrity. So I'm not talking about crony capitalism. I'm not talking about government mangling of capitalism. I'm talking about the free enterprise market, but also supplemented with the principles of prosperity and generosity. Because we know there are people who are not able to take care of themselves. And we, as fellow humans, we need to support them as best we can. So, all right, so I talked about reframing. Let's get into that now. The beliefs you want to develop are the ones, are the beliefs about the true role of money in the Jose, did you get that? I see we have our go-go dancer back this week on one of the screens. We're you know, we got some great entertainment. Not only do you get the principles of prosperity, but it seems to be we have a guest porn star every week too. So it's just bonus prosperity for you. Okay, so the beliefs you want to develop are the ones around the true role of prosperity, right? So let me talk about some better beliefs that you might want to have. So first, money is part of the holistic nature of the holistic profile of prosperity, right? Because we've talked about this before. The what have we got? Oh God! So if you see in the chat, if Jose, if you can find who it is, type in that. So they're pretty good with the cut and paste. That's pretty quick, I gotta say. If you could block that person. Money is part of that holistic part, meaning true prosperity is health, spiritual grounding, nourishing relationships, and money and material things. I think it's really important that we don't discard money and material things, because that is an element of prosperity, but it's not the only part. So money is part of, a necessary part of, but it's part of the holistic profile of prosperity. That's a better belief that's going to serve you. All right. So have we got that person blocked, Jose? So
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. And yeah, I wanted to get that off the screen. So yes, people can comment again. Good. All right. Next, think of money as a lubricant for life. That, okay, just money is a way that can make my life easier. Another belief would be money and material things allow creative expression that makes you happier. Because one of the things you're going to hear a lot, people are always going to say, money doesn't buy happiness. Money and material things can't make you happy. Well, I would qualify that to say that money and material things can give you creative expression that make you happier. So I've manifested money, which allows me to write. I have my 14th, but I didn't even mention my 14th book, Radical Rebirth, is out now. So you got to get a copy if you didn't. This is how to kill off the old you and recreate the kind of prosperous life you want to create, right? So that's out now. It's on Amazon, or if you go to randygage.com/radical rebirth. Somebody type that in the comments, please. randygage.com/radical rebirth, and also put the Amazon link in there if you would. But so that's my essence. I love to write, right? So because I have found ways to manifest money, it makes me happier. I'm happiest when I'm hunched over my little laptop here in my lonely writer's garret, writing my next book, right? It gives me that creative expression, right? I love to play softball, right? Even at this advanced age I'm at, right? So tomorrow I will be running the drills, leading my new team in softball practice. Well, because I have the freedom to do that, right? I got the money thing out of the way. And that's something that I want to talk about as another one of these positive beliefs that we can develop about money. So money and material things allow you the creative expression that can enhance your happiness. The next thing I would tell you is that debt is a prison that should be left as soon as possible. There are cases where it makes sense. You might invest in real estate and put down $100,000 to buy $1 million cash flow property. There are cases where debt is a useful tool, a vehicle for creating wealth. But debt can be a prison, and it should really be left as just soon as possible. And then the other thing is, when this expression you heard me say a minute or two ago, what I want for you guys, everybody who comes back here every Saturday, who makes a commitment, and you don't have to always be on live. We replay these. Every week we put it up on my YouTube channel called Prosperity TV. And then we rebroadcast it on the Power Prosperity podcast. So you can get the replay every week, video and or audio, Power Prosperity podcast and Prosperity TV YouTube channel. So you guys who really committed and say, I want to get this lesson every week, I want you to focus on this reality of, let me get the money thing out of the way. Give me the freedom and the ability to make choices not based on money. So it's Saturday. If you go out to eat on Saturday night tonight, I hope you eat outside, where there's been no coronavirus circulating. And when they open up the menu, I want you to order from the left half of the menu, not the right half of the menu. I want you to be able to do that, to say, wow, I would really love to have the eggplant parmesan. And that's what you base your decision on, not the right column where it says it's $29.95 or $19.95 or $9.95. I want you to get the money thing out of the way. When, I'm in my condo here I'm on a little island between Miami and Miami Beach. And right behind this laptop here is the view I'm in the middle of Biscayne Bay. I'm surrounded big floor to ceiling windows. This view is spectacular, right? I was able to buy this home without making the decision, can I afford this apartment, or should I get something on the ground floor that has a view of a dumpster behind Denny's, right? You want to be able to, so there really is. So when you hear people say, well, money doesn't buy happiness, money isn't going to make you happy, material things aren't going to make, a car just takes you from point A to point B, or what's the difference of your hotel room when you turn the lights off? It's the same. No, it's not. The difference between the Four Seasons Hotel in Prague, that's my favorite hotel in Prague, on that island with the view of the castle and the island underneath your balcony, is better than the view of the Holiday Inn in Dubuque, Iowa. I'm sorry, it just is. And you can't tell me, well, once the lights go off, it's the same. No, it's not. The mattress at the Four Seasons is better than the mattress at the Motel 6. Okay, the Motel 6, your room is located next to the ice machine and the elevator, which are waking you up 6 times a night because they got paper mache walls with no soundproofing. And, there is a difference in the experience. Now, don't get me wrong. It may not be prudent for you to stay at the Four Seasons. It may be prudent for you to stay at the Motel 6 or the Holiday Inn at this point of your life. But the reason we're going to do these lessons every Saturday is for you to get to the point where it is prudent for you to be able to have the freedom and the security to make decisions not based upon the cost. Yes, Peter, I see the thumbs up. Good for you. Yeah, that's where we want to get you to. All right, so I have one more really important reframe belief. But before we do that, let's take the love offering. So once again, there's no charge for this. I do not assign a cost to this. It's just like if I was doing live seminars on the internet and I was selling them for $47 or $67 or whatever, but I didn't do that. The goal of what I'm trying to accomplish here is to allow the people who can afford to support my work to support the work, and the people who can't to be able to access it. So anybody, no matter how tight their money situation is, they know they can always access these lessons for free. So if you want to support my work, please go to randygage.com/go. And somebody do me a favor and type that in the comments. randygage.com/go. That's the page where you can support the work. And credit card, debit card, PayPal, Venmo, however it works for you. And I'm asking, if you get value from this, support the work and support the people who can't afford to support it at some time. I will say this, I'm very grateful. There's a number of you who have been very, very generous and prosperous these first 2 weeks. And there's a bunch of people who haven't supported anything. I get that. And that's okay. If you really, and by the way, I have people who support it with $1 every week. I have people who support it with $5 every week. There's no judgment here. I want you to do it on the level that you can support it. But here's the catch. You guys who can't support even $1 or $5 or $50, I want you to still practice the principles of prosperity by sharing this lesson, right? There's be a replay on YouTube on the thing. Share that with your friends. Tell people when we do it, circulate when you see the link and I send it out on Twitter or Facebook that we're going live, or hey, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, we're doing, send that to your friends who you believe will be open to this principle, this message of prosperity, free enterprise, and generosity. So let me, we're gonna I'm going to give the offering statement and we can affirm this together. And then I have a final belief that I want to talk about. But if you're on the page, you can read the offering statement and read it with me. We're going to send this energy around the universe through the power of the internet. Prosperity begins with me. Holding this seed offering in my hand or my heart, I send it forth as a vessel of hope, healing, and highest good, knowing it blesses myself, the recipient, and the universe around us. Okay, the big belief is the power of ideas. And this is where I really want to pick up on what we talked about last week in the lesson. So I read you from the book Prosperity by Reverend Charles Fillmore. And if you remember, he was talking about the prosperity substance in the ethers around us, and that we manifest it in the physical realm through the power of ideas. And he talked about the atoms and the electrical energy that they were circulating. And the fascinating thing, if you go back and you watch that, or if you read the book and you read what he's writing, is that book was written in 1936, right? So we had not, the World War II had not happened, the atomic bomb had not been developed, fusion, enriching uranium, all of this stuff was still into the future. Yet in 1936, he was talking about the energy, the pulsating energy of the atoms, and more importantly, the space between atoms. And I posit that this energy is everywhere in the universe, all around it. There is no place in the universe that potential prosperity does not exist. So I can go over that way into Liberty City and Overtown, and I can find some really poor neighborhoods, but I'm telling you, potential prosperity is there. I see in the chat, we have people from Africa on this chat in areas of famine and extreme poverty. But I can tell you, potential prosperity is there. There is no place in the universe that this spiritual substance does not exist in the ethers, and we manifest it with the power of ideas. So more than anything else I could ask you today, I'm going to ask you to believe in the power of ideas and your ability to manifest those ideas into prosperity on the physical plane. So we do that again, just a review of last week. One of the ways is we solve problems, right? If you have an abscess tooth and there's a dentist who can make your pain go away, you will joyfully, lovingly, gratefully pay her whatever she asks to make that abscess tooth stop throbbing. She makes your problem go away. You will joyously pay her for that, right? Anytime we can add value. So if you can show Grubhub how they could save 50 cents on every delivery. If you could show somebody how every time they fill their car up, they could get an extra 2 miles a gallon with the gasoline that they buy. And if you can add value, there's people who will trade you for that. And then, of course, is the envisioning the possibilities, right? The idea that Steve Jobs said, I'm going to turn your phone into a mobile computer that you take with you everywhere. You can access any knowledge of acquired human knowledge on the internet at any time. You can play music with it. You can text message with it. You can do communicate through apps like WhatsApp and Signal. You can watch movies. You can stream live TV. He envisioned a possibility that didn't exist. And when we saw that possibility, we wanted it in our lives. So please do a little critical thinking about this lesson this week. Say, okay, let me really go back at these 7 bad beliefs about money. How many of those did I come into this lesson believing? And then blow up those beliefs. And then look at how you can replace them. That money is a necessary part of the holistic profile of prosperity. That money is a lubricant of life. That money and material things allow you creative expression that can make you happier. That debt is a prison you want to escape from. That your goal is to get the money thing out of the way as soon as possible. And know that money will give you freedom, and money can give you security. And those are really tangible elements of a prosperous life. But most specifically, perhaps most importantly, believe in the power of ideas and your ability to manifest those ideas, to manifest your prosperity on the physical plane. All right, peace, love, and unicorns to everybody. Thanks for watching. Remember, share this message with this. Let's get the message out there. And then I will be back next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. California, and all those other time zones around the world. And we will build a more prosperous future. Peace.